It's your Week 3 injury and news roundup. I'm Joe Dolan, and this is the Fantasy Points morning lineup for Saturday, September 23rd, 2023. Any stats you hear in this program will be from the Fantasy Points data suite, unless otherwise noted. And the data suite is currently 75% off for the 2023 NFL season over at fantasypoints.com, and you can even check it out with a free 7-day trial. And we're already pushing updates to it with a really cool new offensive line, defensive line tool. And you can also subscribe to any fantasy content package at fantasypoints.com with code GURIFIC25 for a major discount. At quarterback in Week 3, Joe Burrow was a limited participant in Friday practice. Burrow seems to have a chance to go on Monday night against the Rams, even if he's not 100%. And of course, the Bengals' backs are against the wall. Sitting at 0-2, and Burrow's play, frankly, has been a large part of that, if not the biggest part of that. Interestingly, the Patriots signed Will Grier off the Bengals practice squad on Thursday, briefly leaving Jake Browning as the only other quarterback in the Bengals organization, until Cincinnati signed Reed Sinnett on Friday to their practice squad. Sinnett was with the Bengals this summer, so he knows the playbook. This is a really fascinating situation because we know how bad the Bengals have been, and I don't feel particularly good about a gimpy Burrow or Jake Browning going out there on Monday night against the Rams. So I want to bring up an interesting trade offer that my wife got in her fantasy league. I'm actually in this league as well. She was offered A.J. Brown for Jamar Chase straight up. Now, Jamar Chase was the second pick in the draft, and A.J. Brown was a late first-round pick, but A.J. Brown has a healthy quarterback. Jamar Chase does not. She took the deal. What would you have done? Make sure you comment below if you think taking A.J. Brown for Jamar Chase was the right move. Now, also at quarterback this week, Bryce Young will miss this week's game against the Seahawks with an ankle injury. Andy Dalton will start for the Panthers, throwing to potentially the league's worst wide receiver group. And another rookie quarterback who's out this week is the Colts' Anthony Richardson with a concussion. The Colts are playing it safe. Gardner Minshew will start against the Ravens in a potential bad weather game in Baltimore. And the other highly drafted quarterback this year, C.J. Stroud, will play with his shoulder injury, and he's been really impressive, as I've discussed on this program, but he's going through kind of a pain management regimen on his throwing shoulder, and that's not good considering he's on pace to throw the ball nearly 800 times this year. Yikes. At running back, the Chargers' Austin Eckler is out this week against the Vikings. Now, this is from Daniel Popper of The Athletic. This is what head coach Brandon Staley had to say about Eckler. Quote, "He's working hard to get back. We'll see how it goes here in the next few weeks."
What?
It very clearly is a high ankle sprain here that Austin Eckler is dealing with. I don't like hearing that next few weeks. Now you wonder if this could be a bounce back spot for Joshua Kelly. The Chargers and the Vikings have the highest total on the slate. The Vikings got absolutely crushed by DeAndre Swift last week. Maybe they could run it. DFS purposes, maybe he gets in the end zone a couple of times. I wouldn't be afraid to go back to the well on Joshua Kelly. Now, one guy who should be added, as I mentioned on Thursday's program, is the Saints' Kendre Miller, who has missed the first 2 weeks of the season with a hamstring injury, but will make his debut this weekend against the Packers and could well be the lead back in New Orleans with Jamal Williams out for a little bit of time with a hamstring injury of his own. And Kendre Miller, who was a third-round pick this year out of TCU, could carve out a role independent of Alvin Kamara, who comes off of suspension next week. Now, in the same game, the Packers' Aaron Jones is trending in the right direction after 2 straight limited practices on Thursday and Friday. He's questionable against the Saints, so probably a game-time decision, and to me is a middle-of-the-road running back too, given the 28% hamstring injury recurrence rate for running backs our Dr. Edwin Porras cited. The Chiefs' Isaiah Pacheco didn't practice with a hamstring injury on Wednesday, but returned later in the week. And this isn't a typical hamstring injury. It's a contusion, not a pull. So Dr. Porras doesn't believe this should affect Pacheco much at all. In good news, the Titans removed star running back Derrick Henry from the injury report with a toe injury, so he's going to play this weekend. But listen up. Go pick up Tyjae Spears, the rookie running back. Spears has played on 47.5% of the Titans' offensive snaps and has a 33% route share. Henry has a 26.1% route share by comparison. Now, Spears has handled 17 opportunities in the first 2 weeks of the season and has 9.1 expected fantasy points per game, nearly double of what he's actually scored. And he's rostered in just 18% of Yahoo leagues. In the early going, he looks like someone who could be the first Titan running back to hold flex value independent of Henry since DeMarco Murray was in town. And I wonder if his skill set is utilized more this week, given the tougher matchup against Cleveland, who actually gave up quite a bit of production in the passing game to Jaylen Warren last week. Now, some other guys who are doubtful or worse to play this week include David Montgomery, Justice Hill, Cam Akers, and Salvon Ahmed, so don't plan on having any of those guys. And others who look like they're going to play include Kenny Gainwell, who will have a role in the Eagles' backfield. I do think DeAndre Swift is the lead guy, but Gainwell will have a role. And Kareem Hunt is expected to play for the Browns this week as well, as they look to replace Nick Chubb. Here are the names to watch at wide receiver. Jalen Waddle is questionable with a concussion for the Dolphins. Now, he returned to practice in a limited fashion on Friday. Since 2018, 52% of wide receivers returned to game action the first week after a concussion, per Dr. Edwin Porras. And given the Dolphins' let's just say interesting handling of the concussion protocol in the past, it will be very, very interesting to see how they play it with Waddle this weekend. The Packers' Christian Watson returned to practice on Friday after what they said was a planned rest day on Thursday, as he looks to make his season debut with a hamstring injury. So he went limited practice Wednesday, no practice Thursday, apparently a planned rest day, and a limited practice Friday. He's questionable. It looks like he's going to give it a chance to go, but he's a risky wide receiver 3. But given how we've seen Jordan Love play these first couple weeks, that's a high upside wide receiver 3. DeAndre Hopkins of the Titans went down the ladder this week. He was a full participant on Wednesday. He was a limited participant on Thursday, and he was a no practice participant on Friday as he deals with an ankle injury. He is officially listed as questionable. Now, last week he was limited with a 60% snap share, and to me is a wide receiver 3 at best against the Browns. Now, 2 more guys who are questionable and look like they're going to play are the Lions' Amon-Ra St. Brown and the Seahawks' DK Metcalf. St. Brown was a full participant on Friday practice with a toe injury. It's I'm told a minor turf toe injury. Meanwhile, Coach Pete Carroll said Metcalf is on track to play with his rib injury. Remember, he got hurt last week against the Lions and then returned to action. He's obviously very sore. By the way, same thing for Deebo Samuel, who got hurt in Thursday night games against the Giants. Now, x-rays were negative per Kyle Shanahan, but Deebo Samuel could be at risk of missing next week if his pain does not subside. So keep an eye on Deebo Samuel. The Chiefs' Kadarius Toney, who has a toe injury. And if he were to add a knee injury to that, he would have toe-knee injuries. Kadarius Toney returned to practice on Friday with the toe injury after missing Wednesday and Thursday. You can't use him. Forget about it. 2 guys who play Monday night, Devontae Smith and Puka Nacua, have both been limited in practice this week, but are practicing. Smith is dealing with a minor thigh and hamstring injury. He was spotted just kind of gingerly limping in the Eagles locker room after their game last Thursday against the Vikings. It looks like he's going to be able to go on Monday night. And the same with Puka Nacua, who is still dealing with that oblique injury. Other guys who look like they are going to play this weekend include the Raiders' Jacoby Myers, the Cowboys' Brandon Cooks, the Bears' Darnell Mooney, and the Browns' Amari Cooper. You can obviously use Myers and Cooper, not so for Cooks and Mooney. And others who are out this weekend include the Ravens' Odell Beckham Jr., who has an ankle injury. Now, one more guy I want to talk about is Scott Barrett's boy, the Broncos' Marvin Mims. The rookie ran like 5 routes last week against the Commanders and had 113 receiving yards and a touchdown. So, might be excited to use him. Well, here's what offensive coordinator Sideways Joe Lombardi had to say about Marvin Mims' usage. Quote, "The way the game script goes is just how the calls come out." So in the event that the game script says, Joe Lombardi, use your bad players, Marvin Mims doesn't play. Pick him up. He needs to be stashed in every league. Thanks for joining me for the Fantasy Points morning lineup this Saturday. Now, remember to subscribe to the channel for more fantasy football content. Absolutely destroy that like button. I want it blown off your page. And comment if you enjoyed this video. Make sure you comment about my wife's trade. What do you think she should have done in that situation? And you can catch me over at fantasypoints.com. Use code GRIFFIC25 and join our subscriber Discord. Good luck in week 3, everybody.